Welcome to Quiet Dreamtime. Before we begin our journey into tonight's story, let's take a few moments to relax and clear our minds. Find a comfortable position, either lying down or seated, and gently close your eyes. Let your hands rest peacefully by your sides or on your lap. Take a deep breath in, slowly and deeply. Fill your lungs with calming air, and then exhale, letting go of any tension in your body. Breathe in again, and with each exhale, feel your muscles relax more and more. Imagine with each breath that you're releasing the weight of your day. Each worry, each thought, allow your body to soften, melting into the calmness of the present moment. Now, picture yourself in a peaceful place, somewhere you feel completely safe and at ease. It could be a quiet beach, a gentle forest, or a soft meadow. Visualize the gentle sounds of nature around you, the breeze, the rustling leaves, the distant song of birds. Feel the tranquility of this place surrounding you, wrapping you in comfort. Take another deep breath, and as you exhale, feel your body sinking deeper into relaxation. Let go of anything that doesn't serve you right now. Here, in this moment, there is only peace, only calm, only the soft embrace of the present. When you're ready, allow your mind to slowly drift toward the story we're about to share together, knowing it will lead you into the warmth of a peaceful night's rest. Take one final deep breath in and out. Welcome to Quiet Dream Time. Let the magic of this moment guide you into a restful sleep.
In a small town nestled between rolling hills and winding rivers, there was a little bakery at the edge of the cobblestone street. It was a warm, inviting place where the scent of fresh bread and sweet pastries always seemed to drift into the air. The bakery was run by a kind-hearted woman named Emma, who had spent most of her life perfecting the art of baking. Every morning before the sun rose, Emma's day began in the soft quiet of her small cottage behind the bakery. The first thing she did was open the window by her bed, letting in the cool morning air that smelled of earth and fresh rain. The town was still asleep, and she loved these peaceful moments of solitude before the world came to life. Emma stretched, feeling the warmth of the blankets slowly leaving her body as she got out of bed. She always made her bed first, neat and simple, then slipped into her worn apron, which had a slight scent of flour from years of use. It was her favorite apron, the one that had pockets deep enough to hold a wooden spoon and a recipe card or two. She walked into the kitchen, where the first thing she did was light the small oil lamp by the sink. The soft glow from the flame cast long shadows on the walls as Emma moved around, gathering the ingredients she would need for the day. Flour, sugar, yeast, butter. She knew the measurements by heart, but she still liked to take her time, the ritual of each ingredient grounding her for the long day ahead. The first task was always the dough. Emma worked in rhythm, her hands moving with practiced ease as she measured the flour, poured the milk, and cracked the eggs. She mixed everything slowly, gently, giving the dough a tender touch. Kneading was her favorite part of the process. The dough felt alive under her hands, warm and soft, with just the right amount of resistance. Each fold, each push was a calming motion. It was as if the dough responded to her energy, growing softer and more pliable as she worked. While the dough rested, Emma prepared the filling for the day's pastries. She had a variety of sweet and savory treats she baked each morning: sticky cinnamon rolls, buttery croissants, and lemon tarts that smelled like sunshine. Today, she decided to make her famous raspberry scones, the ones that always seem to disappear first. The fresh raspberries were waiting in the fridge, and she mixed them into the dough carefully, her fingers dusted with flour. By the time the dough had risen, the sky outside had begun to lighten. Emma looked out the window and saw the first rays of the sun gently kissing the horizon. She smiled to herself, knowing that soon the bakery would come alive. Her next task was the oven. The bakery's old stone oven had been with her since she took over the shop from her grandmother. It was large and a little worn around the edges, but it had character and it always baked things perfectly. Emma opened the oven door, letting the warmth spill out, and slid the first tray of bread inside. The oven's heat wrapped around her like an embrace, comforting her as she worked. The smell of freshly baked bread soon filled the air, and Emma could feel her heart swelling with satisfaction. She worked quickly, moving from one task to the next, shaping loaves of bread, preparing trays of pastries, and arranging them on the wooden counters. As the bakery started to fill with the delicious smells of the morning, Emma turned on the coffee pot, the sound of the bubbling liquid blending with the sounds of the bakery. Before opening the door to customers, Emma always took a moment for herself. She'd sit by the small window at the back of the bakery, her hands wrapped around a warm mug of coffee. This was her quiet moment, the calm before the hustle of the day. She would close her eyes for a second, just long enough to listen to the soft rhythm of her own breathing and feel a sense of peace. She knew the day would soon be filled with chatter, laughter, and the steady click of the door as people came and went. But for now, it was just her, the bakery, and the promise of another day filled with the simple joy of baking. When the clock struck 7, Emma took a deep breath, tucked a stray strand of hair behind her ear, and opened the bakery door to the world. The morning rush began almost immediately. The bell above the door jingled as the first customers, a mix of regulars and sleepy travelers, wandered in, drawn by the smell of fresh bread and pastries. Emma greeted each one with a warm smile, always remembering their favorite orders. 1 croissant, as usual, she'd ask Mrs. Johnson, the elderly woman who came in every day. Or, would you like your usual loaf of sourdough, Mr. Harris? It was these little connections that kept Emma grounded, the faces and voices of the town that made the early mornings so rewarding. But before any of the customers arrived, and before the bakery was filled with laughter and chatter, there was always that quiet moment when Emma stood alone in her small kitchen, surrounded by the warmth of the oven, the scent of freshly baked goods, and the soft glow of the rising sun. It was in those moments, in the solitude of her bakery, that Emma found her peace. And so, every day, Emma continued her morning routine, an act of care, a ritual of love, and a reminder that sometimes the simplest things, like the touch of flour on your fingers or the warmth of fresh bread, could be enough to make the world feel whole again. As the years passed, Emma's bakery became more than just a place of work. It became an integral part of the town's heartbeat. Every morning, the same routine would unfold, but each day carried with it something different, some little moment that filled her heart with warmth and reminded her why she had chosen this path. One particularly crisp autumn morning, as Emma prepared for the busy day ahead, an elderly man named Mr. Thompson walked into the bakery. He was a familiar face, one of the regulars who came in each morning for his cup of coffee and a slice of Emma's famous apple pie. But today, something was different. Mr. Thompson stood a little straighter, his eyes gleaming with a newfound energy. "Emma," he said, his voice soft but filled with excitement, "I want to thank you for your pies. I've been coming in here for years, and I've never told you this, but they remind me of my wife. She used to bake these every autumn. I never realized how much I missed them until I had yours." Emma felt a warmth spread through her chest. She smiled, trying to hide the lump in her throat. "I'm so glad you like them, Mr. Thompson. It's always an honor to carry on a tradition." From that moment on, Mr. Thompson became a little more than a customer. He would often sit in the corner of the bakery, chatting with Emma about his late wife, telling stories of their life together. He'd share a slice of pie with Emma, and they'd sip coffee and laugh about the little things that made life so special. It became their little ritual, a moment of peace in both their lives, where memories and stories were shared between the warmth of a cup and a slice of something homemade. On another occasion, a young couple came into the bakery one winter morning, faces flushed from the cold. The woman, pregnant and glowing with anticipation, smiled as she stood at the counter, holding her partner's hand. They were both new to the town, just settling into a small house on the outskirts, and had heard about Emma's bakery from a neighbor. "I've been craving something sweet all day," the woman said, looking at the pastries with longing. "Do you have anything for a sweet tooth?" Emma smiled knowingly and led them to a display case filled with her signature pastries: sticky cinnamon rolls, chocolate croissants, and lemon tarts. The woman picked a lemon tart and took a bite, her eyes lighting up instantly. "This is perfect," she exclaimed. "I think this is the best tart I've ever had." Her partner, who had been quietly observing, added, "I think you've won her heart, Emma." Over the next few months, the couple became regulars, always stopping by for a treat after their walks through town. One afternoon, the woman, whose name was Lily, came into the bakery alone, her face beaming with happiness. "Emma," she said, her voice filled with excitement, "I wanted to let you know we're having a baby girl, and I just had to come in for one of your tarts to celebrate." Emma's heart swelled with joy. She pulled a fresh lemon tart from the shelf and wrapped it up with care, her hands moving almost instinctively. "Congratulations, Lily. I'm so happy for you both." And so, with every tart she baked, with every loaf of bread pulled from the oven, Emma knew she wasn't just feeding the town. She was creating memories, ones that would be shared, celebrated, and cherished. Over time, the little bakery became a place where people connected, where joy and comfort were found, not just in the pastries, but in the conversations, the smiles, and the fleeting moments that passed by, the warm light spilling from the windows. One summer evening, a child came into the bakery holding a crumpled dollar bill. She was no older than 7, her wide eyes looking up at Emma with a shy smile. "I'd like to buy a cupcake for my mom," the little girl said, her voice hesitant but proud. Emma crouched down to her level, offering a soft smile. "Of course, sweetie. I'll wrap it up for you." As Emma handed the cupcake to the girl, she couldn't help but notice how carefully the child held the money, how determined she was to make this small gesture for her mother. The little girl ran out of the bakery, and Emma watched from the window as she handed the treat to her mother, who was waiting outside, arms open wide. It was moments like these, small unspoken gestures that reminded Emma of the impact her work had. It wasn't just about making delicious food. It was about being part of people's lives, creating little moments of happiness that lingered long after the pastry had been eaten. But perhaps the most memorable and touching day came when the bakery celebrated its 10th anniversary. The small town gathered for a celebration, and Emma had baked special treats for the occasion. Cupcakes decorated with delicate flowers, an enormous chocolate cake, and trays of the town's favorite pastries. The bakery was filled with laughter, chatter, and the hum of people enjoying each other's company. As Emma stood at the counter, watching her customers enjoy the fruits of her labor, she felt a deep sense of fulfillment. This wasn't just a bakery, it was a home. It was a place where memories were made, where people shared their joys and sorrows, and where everyone, from the youngest child to the eldest neighbor, could find a little slice of happiness in the simplest of things. And in that moment, surrounded by friends, family, and customers who had become like family, Emma realized how much her bakery had meant, not just to the town, but to her. It was the heart of the community, a place where time slowed down, and every loaf, every tart, every cup of coffee shared had woven its way into the very fabric of her life.